It's late. You're finally in bed. Your body is exhausted. Your eyes are closing. And then your brain says, "Hey, remember that awkward thing you said 6 years ago?" Perfect. Now the footage is playing in ultra-high definition. Different camera angles. Enhanced audio. Director's commentary. Your brain stands beside an investigation board. Notice how they stopped smiling for half a second. They definitely hate us. Meanwhile, the other person doesn't remember the conversation. But your brain has already created a documentary. How one weird sentence destroyed my entire life. That's the strange thing about overthinking. You know it isn't helping. You know you're going in circles. But maybe the answer is hiding inside replay number 47. So you check the message again. They wrote, "Okay," not "okay," just "okay." That full stop looks aggressive. Why is it standing there like that? Now you're asking your friend, "What do you think okay means?" Your friend says, "It means okay." Clearly, they don't understand the situation. So why can one tiny event become a 3-hour mental Netflix series? And how do you stop without hearing, "Just don't think about it"? Telling an overthinker not to think is like telling a dog not to notice a sandwich. The sandwich is now the center of the universe. Overthinking is not simply thinking too much. It's your brain trying to protect you from uncertainty. Your brain wants to know what people think, what will happen tomorrow, whether you made the right decision, whether "can we talk" means "good job" or "please return your laptop." But real life rarely gives perfect answers. And when your brain lacks information, it makes information up. They haven't replied. Maybe they're busy? No. Too simple. Obviously they're angry, or disappointed, or they've created a group chat called, "Let's discuss that terrible message." Your brain would rather invent a bad answer than accept no answer. Because no answer feels uncontrollable. You are not always searching for truth. Sometimes you are searching for control. Each time you analyze the situation, you feel a tiny bit safer. Maybe this time I'll understand it. But you don't. So you think again. It's like refreshing a page that hasn't changed. Refresh. Nothing. Refresh. Still nothing. Congratulations. You have now seen the same nothing twice. Useful thinking moves forward. Overthinking does laps around the same car park. Useful thinking asks, "What can I do?" Overthinking asks, "How many terrible versions can I imagine?" So let's interrupt the loop with 5 habits. No meditation cave, no deleting your personality, and no moving to a mountain to become friends with a goat. Name the loop. When you notice the loop, name it. Don't argue with the thought. Just say, "My brain is looking for certainty," or "The documentary is back." There's a huge difference between "I'm going to fail" and "My brain is telling me I'm going to fail." The first sounds like a fact. The second sounds like a notification. And your brain sends some ridiculous notifications. Urgent. That person took longer to say hello. Breaking news. Your message had the wrong emoji. Final warning. Leave the country. Your brain is sometimes an unpaid security guard after 12 coffees. A leaf moves outside. We're under attack. Naming the loop doesn't delete the thought. It stops you from treating it like confirmed news. The alarm is loud. That doesn't mean there's a fire. Sometimes your brain has burned toast. Separate facts from the movie. Ask 2 questions. What actually happened? And what movie did my brain create? Your friend hasn't replied for several hours. Fact. No reply yet. Movie. They're angry. They hate me. I said something wrong. My social life is finished. I will now live in a cave. We traveled from no reply to permanent cave resident very quickly. Facts are things a camera could record. They looked away. They canceled the plan. They said they were tired. Stories are the meanings you add. They looked away because I'm boring. They canceled because they hate me. They said they were tired, but they secretly meant I'm annoying. You don't know that. You felt it. But feelings are not hidden cameras. A thought can feel real and still be wrong. That's why overthinking is convincing. The story arrives in your own voice. Write down the facts. Then, write down the story. Sometimes you'll realize there are 2 facts. And my brain has written 9 seasons. Give the thought a deadline. Schedule time to overthink. Yes, on purpose. Give yourself 10 or 15 minutes. Open a note. Let your brain present the case. What if I made the wrong decision? Interesting. What if everyone judges me? Dramatic. Continue. What if something goes wrong next year? Now we're inventing DLC. Write the problem down. Ask what you know. Ask whether you can act. When the time ends, choose one of three things. Act now. Schedule the action. Or accept that there is nothing to do yet. Your brain hates that last option. Nothing to do? Surely we can analyze it for another 4 hours. But overthinking has no finish line. There's always another what if. What if I choose wrong? What if I regret choosing right? What if future me is angry with present me? Now you're arguing with an imaginary older version of yourself. A deadline gives the loop an exit. When the thought returns, say, "We already have a meeting scheduled." Your brain will say, "But this is urgent." Your brain thinks everything is urgent. A weird facial expression is urgent. A message without an emoji is urgent. Choosing lunch becomes a government crisis. Urgency does not always mean importance. Sometimes urgency is anxiety wearing a tiny business suit. Take one physical action. Now do one small physical thing. Not the perfect thing. One visible step. Open the document. Write the first sentence. Send the message. Ask the question. Put on your shoes. Book the appointment. Wash one plate. Your brain may say, "What's the point? There are 6. Relax, Gordon Ramsay. We're building momentum. Overthinking loves frozen situations because every possibility stays alive. If you haven't started, the project can still be perfect. If you haven't sent the message, the response can still be anything. If you haven't decided, you can't be wrong. Thinking feels safer than finding out. But action creates new information. You can think about a project for 3 hours and learn nothing. Work on it for 10 minutes, and the real problem appears immediately. Overthinking says, understand everything before you start. Real life says, start, then understand. You don't need the full map. You need the next step. Confidence usually arrives after action. It's the receipt you get after surviving the thing. Waiting to feel confident before starting is like waiting to become strong before lifting a weight. So ask, what is the smallest thing I can physically do now? Your brain wants a master plan. Give it one button to press. Stop feeding your brain before sleep. The 5th habit involves your phone. That glowing rectangle that turns 5 minutes into 1 hour. You lie down and say, one quick video, then another. Suddenly, you're watching a man build an underground swimming pool with a stick. Why? No idea. But now you need to see the ending. Then you check messages, news, holiday photos, a comment section where strangers are fighting about something you don't care about. After feeding your brain 40 unfinished stories, you switch off the phone and say, sleep now. Your brain says, sleep? We just received 17 threats, 8 comparisons, and 3 unfinished conversations. We have work to do. At night, the world becomes quiet, so your brain opens every tab you forgot to close. Create a short, no-input zone before sleep. Start with 10 minutes. No messages, no news, no social media, no checking whether they viewed your story, and no investigating why they viewed it but didn't reply. Detective mode is closed. Write down anything important. Then let the day finish. You are telling your brain, this problem is not sleeping in the bed with us. Now put the 5 habits together. First, name the loop. My brain is searching for certainty. Second, separate the fact from the movie. What happened? What did your brain add? Third, give the thought a deadline. Then act, schedule, or stop for now. Fourth, take one physical step. Action creates information. Loops create more loops. Finally, protect the last minutes of your day. Stop giving your brain new material for the midnight investigation. These habits teach your brain something important. Uncertainty feels uncomfortable. But uncomfortable does not mean dangerous. A delayed reply is not automatically rejection. A mistake is not a personality diagnosis. An awkward moment is not a historical event. And a thought is not a prediction just because it arrived with dramatic music. Some problems need serious thought. Some decisions deserve time. And if repetitive thoughts are damaging your sleep or daily life, professional support can genuinely help. But before analyzing something again, ask, am I finding new information? Or am I trying to escape not knowing? Sometimes you're not overthinking to find an answer. You're delaying the moment when you may have to act without one. You say, I need to think a little more. But underneath that is, I don't want to risk being wrong. Fair. Nobody enjoys rejection, mistakes, or uncertainty. But you cannot think your way into a life where nothing unexpected happens. Your brain will try. It will create plans. Backup plans. Backup plans for the backup plans. Then it will worry that there are too many plans. At some point, you have to close the imaginary control room and return to real life. So tonight, try this. Take the thought that keeps following you. Write it down. Ask, what are the facts? Then, what story am I adding? Give yourself 10 minutes. Choose one small action for tomorrow. Then put the phone away. Your brain may bring the thought back. That's okay. Don't fight it. Just say, we already discussed this. Because not every thought deserves another meeting. Now tell me in the comments, what does your brain overthink most? Messages, past conversations, future decisions, or imaginary situations where you embarrass yourself in front of people you haven't met yet? And if you enjoy exposing the weird tricks your brain plays on you, subscribe. Your mind is strange. But once you understand what it's doing, it becomes less powerful and much more entertaining.